Welcome back, my duelist friends. Casual Duelist here. And it is time for the Slifer budget build. So again, we're using the God card structure deck. We're using 3 copies of it, and we're only building from within the Slifer copies of the deck. Even though they are a simultaneous release, this allows me to not just copy what I did the last time, but again, prevents me from really just making the same deck twice for you guys. So without any further ado, let's get you guys a deck list, and then you guys can tell me how I did. So I'm going to start the deck list off with 3 copies of Arima, the Wicked Warden. We're going to go into 3 copies Caligo Claw Crow, 3 copies Duke Shade Sinister Shadow Lord, the single copy, unfortunately due to the ban list, of Phantom Sky Blaster, the 2 copies of Scapeghost, again 2 copies of Slifer the Sky Dragon. Again, I don't like to play my god cards at 3, even though these newer decks, these have the potential to be able to run 3 copies of them. Just keep that out there. And then 2 copies of the Tenyi Spirit Vishuda. That's going to round out my monsters. I'm going to go over to the spells. I'm running 2 copies of Book of Moon. And if you guys follow my speed duel stuff, I think you know exactly why I'm playing it. 3 copies of Card Advance, because I told you guys I was going to do that. The single Harpy's Feather Duster, because they gave that to us in all of the decks. 3 copies Layer of Darkness, because if you're going to give me 3 copies of Arima in a single deck, you must want me to play that. Single copy March of the Monarchs. Now, realistically, this was a last-second decision. I was between this. I was between the... let me see if I can just find it here, because I was just going through this stuff one last time. The token spawning spell card. I think it was called One Time Pass. Yeah, One Time Pass code. So I was between these two. This one would have allowed me to go ahead and play a security token character, which would have been fine. I could only activate one of these per turn, or March of the Monarchs. Now, I went with March of the Monarchs just to protect my Slifer. Unlike Obelisk, he just doesn't have a built-in ability to protect himself. So I just, 1 copy. Again, you guys could do whatever you want with this slot. This is totally up for grabs for you guys. Obviously, the 1 Monster Reborn. Got to maximize 3 copies of Soul Crossing. Got 3 copies of the True Name, because why not? 3 copies of the brand new Thunder Force Attack, because good card is great. And again, I went to 4 traps for some reason. I'm playing 2 copies Mirror Force and 2 copies Reckless Greed. So, important things. So again, if you guys were just here for the deck list, again, let me take a few seconds. Let me thank you for watching. Thanks for stopping by and sharing your time with me today. I do hope that this amused you. This isn't the last Slifer build. I'm going to be doing one more. And again, just like the Obelisk, that should be out this weekend. I'm going to go ahead and do them in the unlimited version. So now I'm going to use all the cards I have at my disposal to create a new strategy for playing Slifer that I haven't done yet, as Slifer and Obelisk have been on the channel before. But again, thank you. I hope this entertains you. If it has, consider subscribing if you haven't already. And of course, let your friends know about the channel. But other than that, you have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you in the future. For everybody else, let me discuss my decisions with you. So first up would be Arima the Wicked Warden. So the effect here says I can discard this card to add Layer of Darkness from my deck. So it's essentially terraforming. And then it'll let me get my field spell to hand. Second effect, you contribute a dark monster to draw 1 card. However, if I attribute a dark monster that is not this card to activate this effect, I can add a dark monster with 2,000 or less defense from the deck to the hand instead. That last effect is a once per turn. It is a hard once per turn, as using quotes. So what is that going to give us? Well, if we did that, that could give us Duke Shade, which is, again, nice little kaiju piece. And this could also give us Vishuda, just to name 2 things. Now, again, we're going to try to be bouncing our opponent's monsters off the field in order to get our bonuses from Layer of Darkness. And again, once we get to Layer of Darkness, I'll explain the whole token span thing as well. Token spawn. I don't know why I said span. But again, I maximize Good Boy here at 3. So, again, I just want to play that field spell. One of the things that makes the field spell better is the Caligo Claw Crow. As long as I control a dark monster, I can special summon this card from the hand. No strings attached, except I can only play one of him per turn this way. So again, if you're going to go into a Sky Blaster play, and you already have a character up, then you can play, a character, get your Claw, and then play your Phantom Sky Blaster and then fill up the field. So that would be a great play. And also, he's kind of cute looking, so Evil Bird. Duke Shade, Sinister Shadow Lord. Maximize him at 3. He's going to be a kaiju. He's not going to be a kaiju in the traditional sense. As long as we have our field spell, Layer of Darkness, we can go ahead and take one card from our opponent's side of the field and tribute it for this. Normally, he would gain 500 attack for every dark monster used to special summon him. And if this card is normal or special summoned, we can target a level 5 or higher dark in the graveyard, add that to our hand. Again, there are just one play. It's really just to recycle Vishuda. But again, at that point, we're going to be trying to recycle and reclaim cards in order to keep Slifer's attack value high. So no harm, no foul. Each effect of him can be done once per turn. You cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this. Activate either of this card's effects except for Dark Attribute. Again, for the most part, we're going to try to normal summon our God cards, so we're kind of immune there. And I did try to lean into the Dark Attribute as much as possible, so that shouldn't be too big of a deal for us. Sky Blaster, one of the cards in this deck that was actually on the limit list. When this is normal or flip summoned, you can special summon any number of Sky Blaster tokens equal up to the number of monsters that you currently control. So again, if you just play him, then he searches the field immediately, only finds himself, gets one token. If we play him after we say already have a monster, plus we can extend with Caligo Crow, then play him. I see 3 monsters, I can get up to 3 more tokens. And essentially fill up the back row and make it very easy to go ahead and get Slifer that way. Additionally, once per turn during the standby phase, I can inflict 300 points of damage to the opponent for each Sky Blaster monster that I control. And Sky Blasters I control cannot declare an attack during the turn I activate that effect. But that's kind of like if you stalled out, but again, we did set the deck to where you could. So just a little chip damage might happen. Scapeghost, another very significant way to build up our tokens. On the flip, we can special summon any number of Black Sheep tokens. I'm pretty sure this only gives us 4, guys. If I am wrong on this, if this is my only card, it's face down, my opponent attacks it, crashes it, flips it. Does it resolve after this card is already destroyed in the discard pile? And if so, do I actually get 5 tokens? Or do I only get the 4, counting the fact that he should still be on the field during the initial portion of the effect? You guys let me know. Either way, great way to spawn a lot of monster tokens to go ahead and try to generate our tributes. Then we got our boy Red, that's Slifer. So real quick, he's going to borrow a couple of lines off Obelisk. Requires 3 tributes to normal summon, cannot be normal set. This normal summon cannot be negated, and when normal summoned cards and effects cannot be activated. Once per turn during the end phase, if it was special summoned, send it to the graveyard, and from here on, he's his own person. So he gains 1,000 attack and defense for every card that you have in your hand, and of course, this attack and defense will fluctuate as the cards in your hand fluctuate, which is kind of cool. If a monster or monsters is normal or special summoned to the opposing side of the field in attack position, those monsters get vibe checked for 2k. They lose 2,000 attack points, and then if their attack has been reduced to 0 by a result of this effect, immediately destroy the monster. And then, so anytime I'm talking about Slifer's second mouth attack, the Osiris Judgment, that is what I'm talking about. And again, this is very brutal, and the reason we needed to explain this is when we get into the new spell card. The new spell card makes allowances for card effects like Slifer. So again, I just run the 2. You guys could run 3 if you like. Totally up to you. And then we've got Tenyi Spirit Vishuda. A couple things on him. So if he starts your loop, this is a great way to go into Caligo Crow before you go into Phantom Sky Blaster, by the way. Would be that if you control no effect monsters, you can special summon this from the hand. Now, if you control a face-up non-effect monster, which would be any one of the numerous tokens we're able to generate in this deck, You can banish this card from either the hand or the graveyard. Target a card the opponent controls and return it to the hand. Okay, not a quick effect. So you got to be careful. You got to use that only during your own turn. But again, this helps manipulate and manage the opponent's field. And makes it so that we don't always have to play him. But if we can start with him and then we can go into Crow, all the better. That gives us 2 pieces to the puzzle right off the rip. And again, you can only use each of these effects once per turn. So had to put a little bit of a stop on that because he is really good. Over to the spells, I am using 2 copies of Book of Moon. Target a face-up monster, change it to face-down defense. Very simple, very easy. Again, we're trying to manage expectations from our opponent's card effects. Some cards definitely need to remain face-up on the field in order to resolve. And this is a great way of shutting down a lot of cool cards that can get effects like that. Let's just say like Boral's Savage Dragon. Look, of course, on his summon, he gets to attempt to equip himself with a link. However, if he's face down, because you responded, not only does he fail to equip, but he never gets equipped, so he never gets his counter moves. He never gets his negates. So really, Book of Moon, kind of a sneak tech, but they did literally just put it in here, so that's fine. Card Advance, one of the cards I'm actually banking on in this build. It lets you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, place them back in any order of your choosing, and additionally, you can tribute summon 1 monster in addition to your normal summons or set this turn. Again, you can only gain this effect once per turn because, again, it's just a single extension off a normal summon. Again, the Obelisk deck got double summon. This deck got the Card Advance. No worries. We are using the single Feather Duster because, again, Konami gave it to us in both decks. Thank you, Konami. And Layer of Darkness, probably my favorite and spammable card here. So all face-up monsters on the field become dark once this is active. Once per turn, if you attribute a monster you control to activate a card effect, you contribute a dark monster your opponent controls instead, even though you don't control it. So again, this is how Duke Shade is going to do his Kaiju move. This is how Arima is going to just stack their monster and let us get a draw card or a search card, whatever. If you want to go for Duke, you could go ahead. You can do that. Search out Duke and take out 2 of their monsters. I'm not telling you not to. And then once per turn during the end phase, special summon as many Torment tokens as possible to the turn player's field in defense position up to the number of monsters tributed this turn while this card was face up. So again, this will allow us to spawn more tokens. If we do some of this stuff during our opponent's turn, yes, they're going to get tokens, but for the most part, most of our plays are going to happen on our turn when it comes to that, so no worries. Again, those single copy March of the Monarchs. Again, take it out for a 3rd Slifer if you like. Tribute summon monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects, nor can either player target them with card effects. You can't special summon from your extra deck, which is, again, fine. We don't have an extra deck. It's a structure deck challenge. They didn't give us any. So, decent tech. Again, you can throw the 3rd Slifer here if you like. We got Monster Reborn, the best of extenders. We got that new Soul Crossing. And again, if you guys haven't watched the Obelisk one, I will go ahead and go over this one more time for you. So first up, quick play spell. During the main phase, immediately after this effect resolves, tribute summon 1 Divine Beast monster. When you do, you can tribute a monster or monsters that your opponent controls, even though you don't control them. But if you use any of their monsters to tribute this during this card effect, you apply the following effect. Until the end of the next turn after this card resolves, you can only activate 1 card or effect per turn, not counting the effects of Divine Beast monsters. Meaning, you can only activate 1 spell, 1 trap, 1 activated ability. But it says except Divine Beast monsters. So let's pull that 3rd Slifer that I have. And remember, that last effect will try to activate every time the opponent summons a monster or monsters in attack position. So that, again, like I said, they made allowances for the God cards to still get their full effects off, even with the Soul Crossing. And I think that this is very important to take note of, especially since this is the Slifer video. It's through to the end of the opponent's next turn. So once it's back to your turn again, it's business as usual. You can do anything and everything that you want. And again, it sets up Slifer way better than it sets up Obelisk, in my opinion. But there you have it. So that's why that's in there. And then to go along with our stacking ability from the Card Advance, we're going to be using 3 copies of the True Name. And this is really what's going to allow Slifer to have his ability to just be pulled out the same way we were using the Gizmek in order to get Obelisk. We're going to be using the true name to grab Slifer. So declare a card name, excavate the top card of your deck, and if you got it right, add that card to your hand. Then you can choose to add to your hand or special summon a divine monster from your deck. Otherwise, send it to the graveyard. You can only activate the true name one copy of the true name per turn. And again, we're going to stack the deck, we're going to call the top card, we're going to get it to our hand, and we're going to be able to either just straight summon Slifer for one turn, or we're going to get Slifer to our hand and then proceed to do our summon anyway. And if we're doing it that way, you got to remember the card advance also let us get the additional tribute summon. So again, it sort of feeds back into itself. It's a little positivity loop, and I'm a big fan. We're again going to be using the Thunder Force attack spell card. Again, just like Obelisk, this is going to be quick play. Just like Obelisk, it cannot be negated. And if you control a monster whose original name is Slifer the Sky Dragon, destroy as many face-up monsters your opponent controls as possible. Whew. So again, if they've already set up a board before you got your Slifer to the field, you can still go ahead and just take it apart. Additionally, it's quick play, so if they would have summoned something or some things that are just too large for his Osiris Judgment or his Second Mouth Strike to attack, this spell card has you covered. However, if you do this during the main phase of your own turn, you get the following effect as well, which is to draw cards equal to the number of monsters that were destroyed by this card effect and sent to the opponent's graveyard. So what they're trying to say is you're not going to draw cards off breaking tokens, but anything that's a card that physically makes that little journey to the graveyard, that's going to be an extra card in your hand, powering up your Slifer even more and giving you more options to play from there on. Again, during the turn that you do this, you can only attack with a single monster, and you're only allowed to activate one copy of this spell per turn. As well, you should only be able to. I mean, it's pretty powerful. Last two cards, fairly self-explanatory. Mirror Force, we just needed something to do some blocking for us. And again, this allows us to do that. Opponent declares an attack, destroy all their attack position monsters. And then last but not least, Reckless Greed lets us draw two cards. We skip our next two draw phases. If we manage to drop these at the same time, the timing is that they will both wear out at the same time. So it's not draw 4, skip 4 phases. It'll be draw 4, skip 2 phases. And again, this is going to work just as well offensively as defensively, since you will be able to power up Slifer just by flipping this trap card face up. I mean, it doesn't get any easier or any better than that. Again, that was a little long-winded. I'm proud of anybody who actually sat through all of that. Again, guys, thank you. I really do hope that you enjoyed this. And if you did, do the things if you like. If not, that's fine too. Just keep coming back and watching, I guess. And if you haven't already, go ahead and check it out. I did do the Obelisk deck as well. That one should already be up and on the channel as of yesterday. So again, guys, just thank you for watching, and have a great day. I'll see you guys on the next video, and I hope to get these both updated by the weekend into the ultimate builds. So see you then.